Hello again, this is the Booster Demon. I am back with a pre-release step-by-step how I build a tournament deck for sealed pre-release. Now, I do play Magic not quite conventionally, so a lot of you may have issues with my choices, but I've had a pretty decent tournament record, so I stand by my picks. And this is a new set, so we'll see if they pan out. I'm going to open up a Golgari pre-release box. Just going to hide the promo for now and make the suspense a little bit higher. Oop. Guess that's the token redemption thing, so I'm not going to use it, so if you happen to sneak the token redemption code, go ahead. Be my guest. All right, we get a neat little dice. We'll put that in the box. So typically, there are people who have asked me to do a video on constructing a pre-release deck for people who are new to pre-releases or new to sealed. So this is what I usually do. I usually open these up, and I will. First thing I do is I will start color sorting them. The best way to figure out. So this is a multicolored. Oops, I'm going to take this pack off. Show you. This is my methodology. You can use whatever method you. Ooh, that's a lot of glare there. You can use whatever methods. And let me try to adjust the camera there. All right. So lower that. Let's see what's going on here. Oh no. There we go. Hopefully that'll be a little bit better for the glare. Maybe not. Sorry about that, guys. I'm just trying to adjust on the fly here. Alright, so there'll be a little bit of glare. Sorry about that. Anyways, I usually just go and sort them by color, and I take note of my rares. So we have a split rare. This is a Selesnya. Whoa, man. You know what? Hang on 1 second here. Well, I cut down the glare a little bit. Anyways, so this is the Selesnya rare. It's a split card, so putting that with multicolored. And then my fixing, we don't really need to worry about the tokens yet. And then actually what I do is I actually separate my, ooh, man, that's right. There's a lot of glare here. All right, let me try something. Let's see. Sorry about that, guys. Just trying to mess around with the lights to see if I can reduce that glare issue. Oh man. Sorry about that. Well, I'm going to take this away. We're just going to try to avoid this corner here. All right, so anyways, separate these out. Sorry for the quality of the video. I'm in a new recording space, so there's some kinks to work out. Sorry about anybody with wearing headphones. I had a complaint about that earlier, and I'll see what I can do to fix that. All right. So, all right. So, Chanceful Glory. That's our rare or mythic. Let's see here. And then Boros, Guildgate. Okay. So being Golgari, we're really looking at this, and so far we only have 1 green card and 3 black cards. So not the best, not the best start. Ooh, it's that crab again. Let's see here. Oh, well, we got on color Shockland. Overgrown Tomb. Ooh, we got a foil rat. Look at that. And a Guildgate that's on color as well. So the mana fixing is starting to become a thing. So yeah, I just try to sort them as fast as I can, and then I'll take a look at each color. Okay, Unmoored Ego, that's a Demure rare. Now, rares are important. They usually give you a lot of power and punch in your deck. For a lot of good commons and uncommons, a lot of kill spells and decent creatures, and you hopefully get multiples of those to make your deck more consistent. Ooh, Krabby Crabs. Meow. That's Golgari colors. Oh, we got a good fixing land. Dead Weight's always good. Oh, we got a nice little multicolored one. Alright, and another and we have a Runaway Steamkin as our rare, and Demure Guildgate. So, those are our non-seeded packs, and then our seeded pack has a Hatchery Spider. Yeah, we're going to open this guy up. Okay, a Golgari. So this is all Golgari stuff, right? So that'll be nice. So what I'm going to do is, since it's our seeded pack, first thing I'm going to do, I think normally what I do is I just look through all the colors and see where all my best removal is. Since we have a lot of these cards, actually, we can go from there. Oh man, I'm sorry, I just moved all this stuff into Glare City here. Alright, so first things first, here's our seeded pack. We're going to take all our rares and see what would be good with what. So this is our rare. That's green obviously, so that's fine. Runaway Steamkin is a red card, so not going to be a huge amount of use. Unmoored Ego is a Demure card, so we're just going to put that aside for now. Okay. Overgrown Tomb is on color, so that stays in the pile. Chancellor is Boros, so that goes away. And we have a Selesnya card. So technically speaking, we can actually use Assure because it's double green for us. We could try to splash for a Selesnya Golgari 3-color deck, but this is a maybe. So that's what happens. Alright, so we have an Overgrown Tomb. Well, then I'll take a look at what other fixing we have. So we have a Gateway Plaza, that works. Selesnya Guildgate will be helpful if we decide to go 3 colors. I'm going to put that aside. We do have a Golgari Guildgate. So we should have, and these are just colors that so this is if you're trying to build to your guild, and we chose Golgari as our guild. So we have a good amount of fixing for our guild. So we got 4 pieces of fixing, Shockland, 2 guild gates, and a Gateway Plaza. Alright, so things are looking good. And then what I usually do now is I'm going to have a green pile, a black pile, and I'm going to separate those two, and an artifact pile. And we'll start a multicolored. Oh man, that's right, I forgot about the glare. Forget about the glare until I look at my monitor. Alright. There we go. Actually, I'm going to take these away. We're just going to put them face down over here. Oh man, that glare. For now, in our maybes, and we're going to look at what we got. Alright. So here's our green, here's our multicolor black lands, and that. And then, let's see, this is the stuff we threw away. This is maybe rares. Okay, so then I have a pile of, so it looks like we have a couple of Selesnya lockets. So those are maybes, because if we do decide to go 3-color, we go Abzan, then we can use those. Alright. Okay, so this is what we got. For artifacts, we have a locket, which fixes us, and we have a 3/3 for 6 gargoyle that flies. It enters with a +1/+1 counter on it for each gate I control. I will have 2 gates in the, actually Gateway Plaza is a gate too, so I have the potential for it to come down as a 6/6 flyer. Flyers in limited are generally pretty good no matter what, because they're evasive. So we're going to keep that in our maybe pile. Alright, it's all going into our maybe pile. Alright, then I'm going to look at my 3-colored cards. This one instantly becomes harder to cast than normal. So it's a 3/4. When it enters the battlefield, return target permanent from your graveyard to your hand. It's a 2-for-1. So I'm going to say, okay, I'll try this. If we have a better card that we find along the way for creatures, then I'll cut it. But right now it's in the baby pile. We have a 2/2 for 3 that lets you discard a creature card. It gets +2/+2, gains trample until end of turn. Activate this ability only once each turn. That isn't bad. Okay, so we'll do that. Undercity Uprising, creatures you control gain Death Touch until end of turn. And target creature you control fights another target creature you don't control. So everything gets lethal, and you get to just kill something. So yeah, that's a kill spell. So what I normally do, personally, when I'm doing these things, is I actually separate them out into creatures and non-creatures. So I typically do that. And I do it by mana cost. So that's fixing, that's a creature, it's way over here. And these are lands, so they kind of just go off to the side for now. Alright, wish that patch wasn't so glary. I don't get that. My hand's not glary, but man, it's like the sheen on these cards. Alright, so it's probably the angle on my camera, but I can't do much about that. So now what I'm going to do is, so like something quick that you can do actually is you can just mana crew creatures and then read them later. Okay, it's a creature, that's a non-creature. I'm just going to make a pile of non-creatures, because the first thing I'm going to do is actually I'm going to look at the creatures. This is a big dude. If I don't have enough creatures to make the deck, oh man, sorry, that's super glary. And that rat is a foil, so that made it even worse. Alright. Okay, so those are my black creatures, green creatures. I got a lot of creatures. Golgari has a lot of creatures. So I think, and I have a lot of relatively cheap creatures actually. There's not a lot of spells in green. A lot of cheap dudes. So now what I do is I just kind of look through them and see if they're any good. So this is a defender. It lets me sacrifice a creature with defender to draw a card. So you could do combat tricks with it, like, oh, it's an early blocker for things because it's 0/3. So Boros would have a hard time getting through this right away. Can't attack, but it's a 0/3, so it doesn't really matter. And then later on, you can do a combat trick like, I'll block your dude, tap sack it, pay the mana, and draw a card. So basically I blocked it for a turn. If it's going to die anyways, just sack it for a card draw to replace it. So it's not a bad card if you're trying to play defensively, right? And you can typically do this sort of strategy if you have like some high-end big beater, some hexproof trampling 8/8 12/12 flyer that, you know, you just need to wait until you get to 8-9 mana to cast, and these are good stall cards. I don't know if these will make it into the deck. This imp has more potential. So 1 mana 1/1 flyer. You can sacrifice it so that your target opponent reveals their hand. You choose an online card from it. They discard that card. You can do it as a sorcery, so you can fly in. Well, I guess you can't fly in. Well, anyways, you can use it as a source of evasive damage, or you can use it as a you know, to snipe their kill spell. Because in limited, that's actually a very powerful ability, because chances are they're going to have limited kill spells. So anytime you can trade a 1/1 for 1 for a kill spell, that's pretty good. So he's a maybe. These are maybes. Okay. Then I look at my 2-drops. I have 2 cheap dudes that are exactly the same. It's a very similar to a Krull 2/2. Not as good though. That came out during the second return to Ravnica. But it's a 2/2 that can pump for 5 and it becomes a 4/4. Or bigger. If you have like 10 mana, it becomes a 6/6. So a pumpable 2/2, early damage that can get bigger later. Not terrible. It's a mana sink, so that's a maybe. Child of Night. almost in this situation, I would say it's pretty high pick or high include because it's a 2/1 lifelinker. Sometimes the games come down to a couple points of life, and the lifelink really, helps out. It can actually win the game for you. All right, we have a 3/2 reach guy with Undergrowth. So there's control up to choose up to one creature with flying you don't control. He gets extra. Okay, then you can have it fight. So it's actually pretty good. It can it's a kill spell and a dude in one. It's a specific kill spell. It's for flyers, but sometimes you just need to kill that one pesky 3/3 that you can't block. So he's an auto include, I think, if you're gonna do Golgari. So he's in. Burglar Rat. Enters the battlefield. Each opponent discards a card. Yeah, I mean, he's pretty good. So, and I have 3, so I can go on a discard plan. So he's a maybe as well. All right. So these are maybes. I'm gonna put them sideways. This is I'm gonna include it. Oh man, sad. Foil Rat. All right. So he's an auto. He's included in the deck. 3/2 Vigilance. Nothing fancy, but solid. So this is a 1/2 cat that enters the battlefield to draw your card. He's a maybe. This guy, he's probably included in the deck. That's what I'm thinking. The Shade is a pumper. That's not bad. It's a mana sink. Centipede dies. You can put a +1/+1 counter on a creature you control. It's a 3 mana 3/2. So yeah, why not? This guy's in too. Let's see, a lot of card discard. 3/1 flyer for 4. Yep. In a deck like this, it's an include. Yeah, we'll put this in the maybe pile. Actually, this guy. All right, we have this Indrik that fights something when it enters the battlefield. So it hits a creature for 4. That's an auto include. It's a 2/1, or sometimes it's a 2/1. Sometimes it's just a kill spell with a 4/4 body. It'll kill a small dude and stay on the board, and they have to deal with 4/4. So not too bad. Let's see, 6/4 for 6. Target creature gets vigilance, so it's a pumper. Can't be blocked by more than one creature. Okay, yeah, so you can't double block it or triple block it. They can only block it with one creature with green. That's usually pretty good because they have bigger creatures, so he's probably in too. Gargoyle is a maybe. Spider's a 5/7 for 7. Reach Undergrowth. You go the system card. Put a green permanent. Okay. It's kind of like a Genesis Hydra type effect. Yeah, I would say he's a 5/7 reach dude. Yeah, he's in. Lotlith Giant. Deals 1 damage to target opponent for each creature card in your... Yeah. So we have a lot of discard things, or things that discard creatures to things. So this could just end the game. Late game, you have like 5-6 creatures in your graveyard. You just cast this dude and brain him for 6 or 7. And that could just end the game. So yeah, he's in. They're expensive, but we have a lot of high end. So these are the things that are in, and we're gonna take a quick look at this. I'm not gonna go through the other possibilities in this deck because it'll be way too long of a video. But we can definitely look at this stuff. So this is probably in. It's a kill spell. Plus gives all your dudes death touch. Makes even our 1/1 rats something to be fearful of. This is a card draw / mana fixing, so I think that's probably in, right? Unless we ended up with like a ton of kill spells. So what do we got? Prevent all kinds. This is fog. So I like fogs. That's just me because it's something that no one expects because it's considered a bad effect. But you can really blow someone out with a fog. So let's see, Vicious Rumors. It deals 1 damage to each opponent. Each opponent discards a card that puts the top card of their library into the graveyard to gain a life. I'm probably not going to include that, but we'll put this in the maybe pile. All creatures get -1/-1 until end of turn. Surveil 2. It's a Dimir card. I mean, yeah, that might be alright. It's a filter. It's a card filtering thing that if they're making a bunch of like 1/1 tokens or something like that, you can just wipe the board. So it's a sideboard card, I'm guessing. For me, that it would be a sideboard card. Then we got Deadly Visit. Destroy target creature. That's an auto. That's in. Boom. it just has to say destroy target creature, and it's in. Deadweight is great. It just kills a little dude for 1. It's an enchantment. It also shrinks big dudes to be more manageable, so that's in. Well, okay, this is another Vicious Ruiner, so but whatever. The Necrotic Wound. Target creature gets -X until end of turn, where X is the number of creature cards in your graveyard. If that creature would die this turn, exile it instead. Yeah, that's a kill spell, so that's in. So basically, we're looking to fill our graveyard with these mechanics. So like, yeah, let's see. That's what we got. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4 kill spells. Okay, which is pretty average. You know, that's not bad. We got a mana fixer. We actually do have some removal in terms of our creatures. So this dude, so the no, not the giant, but and the Indrik. So we actually technically have 6 possible kill spells in the deck so far. If we use this guy, we can recycle one of these guys. So yeah, okay. So this is what looking at our mix of cards, I would probably not use these. I might. Maybe this. Let's see what we got. All right. So if we're gonna go straight Golgari, then the number of spells that we have is pretty low. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right? We have 5 spells. I typically go in my drafts, and this goes against everything that the pros would tell you. I actually go 41 cards. So I go 17 lands and I go 24 non-lands. Reason I do this is because sometimes at 17, 24, or 23, I personally find that I can just like start getting flooded with mana. This feels to me like I can get more things in. At the same time, I'm not sacrificing a draw. I'm kind of like splitting the difference, so to speak. And if you're getting, you're going up against a mill deck, then it just gives you an extra card. So it's like a very small advantage. But sometimes that's important. Sometimes like you're like, man, I'm just 1 card away from dying, and and then you win the game, or you just die off of just you're 1 card short. So it has a non-zero effect. So I have 5 dudes, or 5 non-creature spells, including a mana fixer. So I can actually put in more creatures now. And that's probably what I'm going to do, because it looks like this deck wants to fill its graveyard if I play these cards. And so let's count. We're going to count all of our creatures. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. 23, so I'm looking at 24 cards, so that's 19. So I need to cut 4 creatures from this pile. So my first instinct would be to cut actually these, even though I like the card draw and I like them against fast decks. So I think I would sideboard these. So if you run up against a really fast Boros deck, boom, these are probably going to come in, right? That'll keep you keep your early game a little bit more stable. So now I have to cut 2 more cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And you cut 2 more cards. Yep. So I'm going to keep the Imp because it's a value card. Like it's got a good value. I'm going to keep the Child of Night. Now I have 3 Burglar Rats. I think the payoff of like getting them to discard cards from their hands, plus giving you a cheap early blocker that will just die and fill your graveyard full of graveyard shenanigans, that's probably going to include. So I'll include anything really fast so we can maybe aggro them out. all these guys. So the cat is the one where, although I love cats and I love playing cats, and there's nothing more satisfying than actually just getting in with a cat for the last point of damage. So you really just win by killing them with a cat. He may not actually have the, I don't know. He's in my maybe pile. So if I can find something else to cut, I will. The broker stays in, I think. The trooper stays in. He's a discard outlet. This guy stays in. He's a pretty good value. The shades stay in. This guy stays in. The bat's for sure in. Actually, I don't really want to get rid of anything else. I'm looking at the cat and the gatekeeper gargoyle. So I would say this. So I would say that if you're going up against a flyer heavy deck, put this dude in, right? He could actually end up being nothing but like a 3/3 for 6 flyer, and that feels pretty bad. So, you know, unless they're running a bunch of flyers, I think I'm just going to side him out. And unfortunately, I think the thing that does the least for me right now is probably this cat, even though I like the card draw. I don't know if it's worth paying 3 mana for a 1/2. Although it does block and then just fill up the graveyard, so, and it gives you a replacement card. So this last cut is a really hard call. All my big dudes I kind of want to keep, even though they're expensive, because late game they can just smash, and like this guy is just a win con late game. This is card advantage, plus it stops any of their flyers. This guy, yeah, pumps a dude, and is got a weird combat trick, right, for attacks. This guy's a kill spell, so he stays in, right? So that's my high end. And then I really jump from like kind of like a fast mid-rangey or fast aggressive to mid-range curve of creatures to just boom. We got some, you know, really expensive creatures in the back, but it's also green, so it's a little bit less expensive. We don't have any much mana production or ramping actually to speak of, so I think I might get rid of a pumper maybe, or maybe a rat. Maybe I'll keep the cat and cut a rat maybe. So I guess what'll happen is if I cut the rat for the cat, this draws me cards, this destroys their hand. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to try this guy first, and then if I need to sideboard this rat in later, I will, right? If I'm finding that discarding their hand is more important than drawing my own cards, I can make that decision. Because I already have 2 rats. I have 1 cat, so I'll just split the difference. So yeah, that's our deck here. So when we look at it, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spells. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. So we have 24 cards. And we look at the curve. And then actually, I normally don't do this with these things, but I'm just going to add these to the curve because we have some glare. And then we can see what our curve looks like. I probably should be doing this more often, but I don't. All right. Oops, that's a 3, I guess. Because of the size of our camera angle, we're not going to be able to see our entire curve well. We can see up to the 5th mana costing thing. All right. And then these are our high cost dudes are over here. We have 4 of them. So we have a 5-drop, then we have a 6-drop, then we have another 6-drop, a 7-drop, and another 7-drop. So actually our curve isn't too bad. We have 4 hard to cast things. Maybe this guy's a little bit difficult to cast, but we want to. We're pretty loaded in the back, in the front end there. And then we have 4 pieces of fixing. So that is how I would build a deck out of this if I'm going to go with my guild colors. Well, obviously I have not looked at the rest of these cards, but just a quick cursory glance shows that white has very few removal spells. This rare is a kind of a nice combat trick / card generation. Chance for glory. Wow, that's crazy. Like, you kind of just have to win that game or that turn, otherwise you're dead. Yeah, I just kind of ignored Jameer. I really don't like the guild. A lot of crabs. I know I'm kind of tempted to just play a crab deck, but it doesn't look like blue's very deep for us. There's not that much removal. There's a lot of counter spells, it looks like. There's some removal in that color set. I'm really looking for a removal is the first thing. So deal 2 damage. Okay, so that's combat trick. Damage. Alright, yeah, so I guess like if I were to go with a secondary color or a tertiary color, I would be red, because red has like 4 pieces of removal, you know. I don't think messing up my mana would be good. I don't think I have any real fixing, do I have nothing that's gonna, you know, double up or whatever. So yeah, like red, I would need like a Gruul or Rakdos to help this out, and we don't have any really of that. It's the wrong color set. So I think, and we don't really have a lot of creatures in red. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Not a lot of creatures. So yeah, I think this is maybe the optimal. I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's actually a decent amount of creatures, and yeah, actually we have the most in Golgari. So I think this is our deck. This is what we would run. I shouldn't say we, but I would run. Well, sorry it's such a long video. I hope everyone who started watching this got something out of it. Again, I'm not really a typical deck builder, so I don't really follow exactly, you know, what the pros do, and a lot of people think that that's wrong. But to me, Magic is it's very adjustable. It's very you can adapt it to your own style, and there's nothing wrong with doing that, because hey, a win's a win, right? Doesn't really matter how you get there. Well, I mean, as long as you don't cheat or whatever. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Come on down to the Source this weekend. We will be holding pre-release tournaments Friday night at midnight, Saturday at 11, and Sunday we have a 2-headed giant at 12:30 p.m. and a 1 p.m. 32-man tournament. Things will be, our prizes will be given out by record, so you know, there's no Swiss cut to top 8 nonsense. All right, well, I hope everyone has a great pre-release, and I hope all of your pre-release kits are filled with treasures, and hopefully they're better than this one for value. So this one was okay. It wasn't great, though. All right, have a great day.